All right, so we're diving deep
Yeah.
into solo female travel this time around.
Exciting.
It is. So many people have that travel bug, right? That craving for adventure, but they also want to make sure they can stay safe while doing it. And we know you guys listening don't just want the same generic travel advice.
Right. You want to go deeper.
Yeah, exactly. You want those pro tips.
The inside scoop?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The kind that only someone who has actually done this before would know.
Exactly. And we're going to unpack some of those essential safety tips.
Yeah.
But more than that, we're also going to look at why they matter.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about checking boxes, right? It's about giving yourself the tools to really navigate the world confidently on your own.
I love that. Okay, so first up, research.
Of course.
I mean, it's the foundation of any good trip, but I
Right.
feel like especially when you're going solo, and I'm not just talking about finding those cool, like, Instagrammable cafes, although those are always a bonus. But think a little deeper. What can you tell us about, like, really researching local customs before you even think about packing your bags?
Yeah, it's about respect.
Yeah.
Every culture has its own etiquette, right?
Yeah.
And just understanding those nuances, it just makes a world of difference. Not just, in terms of, like you said, blending in and avoiding unwanted attention, but it's also about your safety as well.
Totally.
So,
Can you give us an example? Like, what's something that might seem like a small cultural difference that could actually, like, really trip a traveler up?
yeah, for sure. I mean, even something as simple as eye contact,
Oh, interesting.
right? In some cultures, direct eye contact can be seen as confrontational, but in other cultures, it's actually a sign of respect.
Hmm.
So knowing those little subtleties can really help you avoid those misunderstandings.
Yeah,
That could, potentially even escalate if you're
Yeah.
not careful, especially as a woman traveling alone.
totally. Yeah, you don't want to accidentally, like, offend anyone.
Okay.
Or put yourself in any kind of, like, awkward or, yeah, even potentially dangerous situation.
Right.
Okay, so we've got the research part down. What about when you're actually out there exploring?
Trust your gut. It's your internal alarm system.
Just so true. Oh my gosh, I've definitely had those moments where something just feels a little off,
Right.
even if I can't, like, put my finger on exactly what it is.
Exactly. And don't ignore those feelings.
Yeah.
If someone's following you too closely or a situation just feels off, despite maybe appearing harmless on the surface, remove yourself.
Yeah.
Trust your gut. It's
Yeah.
always better to be safe than sorry.
So true. Okay, we're being smart, we're being aware, we're trusting our gut. What about staying connected? I mean, in the age of smartphones and social media, there's really no excuse not to let someone know where you are.
Exactly. Always, always share your itinerary with at least one person you trust.
Yeah.
That way it's like you got a virtual safety net, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much cool technology out now.
Yeah.
Like you've got your safety apps specifically for travelers.
Which ones are your favorite? Because there's so many, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, there's tons. I know Noonlight is a really popular one.
Okay.
Trip Whistle is another. They've got features, like real-time location sharing and emergency SOS buttons
Oh, wow.
that can, alert local authorities.
Oh.
Or you can have like pre-selected contacts, even something as simple as timed check-ins, right?
Wow, yeah.
So that someone knows, hey, okay, they should have reached their destination by now and they haven't. So just having those tools at your fingertips
It's reassuring.
just provides, so much peace of mind, not just for you, but for everyone who loves you back home.
It's true. And I love that you said that because it's not about, like, living in fear. It's just about having that, like, backup.
Exactly.
Like, somebody's got your back even when you're on your own. Okay, let's talk accommodations and transportation.
Okay.
These are two, like, big ones where safety and peace of mind are so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for accommodations, reviews from other solo female travelers, they're like gold.
Yeah.
They'll give you the real scoop on safety, on location, on the overall vibe.
And what about transportation? Especially, when you're arriving in a new city, maybe it's late at night.
Yeah.
What are your top recommendations?
I mean, stick to reputable services,
Okay.
whether that's official taxis, a well-known ride-sharing app. You could even pre-book airport transfers.
Right.
And even if you're using a ride-sharing service, just, double-check, verify the driver's information, make sure you're talking your route.
Yeah. All great advice. Those are fantastic, like, safety tips.
Thank you.
But now let's get to, like, the fun stuff. Let's talk about actually choosing the destination.
Okay, let's do it. Because choosing the right destination can totally like amp up that sense of
Oh,
freedom
for sure.
and empowerment that comes with traveling solo as a woman.
You know what? You've definitely got my attention now. Our source material, it highlights a few places that are known for being especially solo female traveler friendly.
Uh-huh.
First up, Iceland. I
The
mean,
classics.
who hasn't dreamt of, like,
The landscapes.
yes, those otherworldly landscapes, like the glaciers, the volcanoes.
Been amazing.
It seems like the ultimate place to just like reconnect with nature
Yeah.
and
But
yourself.
it's interesting you say that because um, beyond just the natural beauty, like Iceland consistently ranks really high.
Yeah.
And like those global gender equality reports,
Oh, wow.
which is important.
Yeah, that's huge.
So that just kind of like that societal foundation of equality kind of translates into this culture where women feel really respected and safe, which is like, you know,
Yeah.
a huge draw for solo travelers, obviously.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's like that, like you said, it's like that undercurrent that just
Right.
makes for a more comfortable and welcoming atmosphere.
Exactly.
Okay, next on the list we have Japan. Now this one always fascinates me.
Yeah.
It's this like really cool blend of like ancient traditions and then futuristic technology.
Totally.
And I've heard it's incredibly safe.
It really is. Japan has this reputation for being like extremely safe, very low crime rates,
Yeah.
and just this culture that really values respect and politeness.
Nice.
And plus, their public transportation system is like legendary.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
so
I've heard good things.
it's efficient, it's clean, it's so easy to navigate, even if you don't speak any Japanese, which is huge.
Yeah.
Because that can be like a huge stressor when you're traveling solo.
It can be so stressful.
It's just like, how do I get from point A to point B?
Right, exactly.
So that just kind of takes all that out of the equation, and you can just relax and enjoy.
It makes such a difference.
Yeah,
Speaking of safe and welcoming destinations, New Zealand also stands out.
of course. Another classic for solo female travel. I mean, natural beauty,
So beautiful.
adventure.
Yes.
And they have a really, really great welcoming backpacker culture.
Oh, cool.
So it's so easy to meet like-minded people from literally all over the world.
Yeah.
If you are looking for company, whether you want to like hike a mountain trail or you just want to like grab a coffee,
Right.
it's very easy to do that.
That's awesome. It's that sense of community,
Yes.
even when you are traveling on your own.
It's so important.
But of course, even in a place like as seemingly idyllic as New Zealand, it's always important to be mindful of safety.
Always, always.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, New Zealand does have a relatively low crime rate,
Right.
but it's still, be aware of your surroundings, especially when you're out exploring those stunning natural landscapes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, just, tell someone your hiking route, your expected return time,
Smart.
those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Because you just never know.
It's good advice no matter where you are, really.
Yeah.
Okay, up next we have Canada.
Oh, Canada. Our neighbors to the north.
I have to admit, I have a soft spot for Canada.
It's a great country.
They're so friendly, and then, like, the natural beauty is just off the charts.
It's true.
Like, those majestic mountains
Yeah.
to those, like, really cool, vibrant cities.
It really is a fantastic choice for solo female travel because it offers such a diverse range of experiences.
It does.
So you can immerse yourself in, the cultural vibrancy of cities like, Toronto and Vancouver. But then, 2 hours later, you can escape into the wilderness and explore, Banff National Park.
That's so true. It's like having multiple vacations in one.
Exactly.
What about safety in Canada?
Yeah.
Any specific, like, tips for navigating both, like, those urban environments
Yeah.
and then, those more outdoor adventures?
Yeah, I mean, generally Canada's very safe, but just like anywhere else,
Right.
it's just important to be aware of your surroundings
Right.
in the cities. Like, stick to well-lit areas, especially at night.
Good tip.
And then if you are venturing out into the wilderness, let someone know your plan, your expected return time, those kinds of things.
It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Always.
Okay, last but not least, we have Portugal.
Ooh, Portugal. Yeah,
It seems like it's become super trendy,
it has. It's very trendy.
and for good reason. What is it about Portugal, do you think, that is so appealing to travelers these days?
It really has. And for solo female travelers, it offers an incredible blend of affordability, culture, beauty, and delicious food. You can wander through charming cobblestone streets, soak up the sun on those stunning beaches, and indulge in those incredible pastries and seafood dishes. It's a feast for the senses.
I mean, you're selling me on it. It sounds amazing. But what about, like, What about safety in Portugal?
Portugal has a relatively low crime rate, and the locals are known for being incredibly friendly and welcoming. However, as with any destination, it's always best to be cautious, especially in crowded areas or at night. Just be aware of your surroundings and trust your instincts.
That's great advice for life in general, really.
Mhm.
So we've covered some amazing destinations, but beyond just like the where, there's also the how. What about packing? Any tips for packing light while still, being prepared for anything? Because I feel like that's my eternal struggle.
Packing light is key. It gives you so much more freedom to move around easily. Choosing versatile clothing items that can be mixed and matched is a game changer. And don't even think about sacrificing comfort for fashion when it comes to shoes. Comfortable walking shoes are non-negotiable, especially if you're planning on doing any exploring.
It's so true. Blisters are not a good look.
Not a good look.
No,
Not fun.
not fun.
Yeah.
But what about like the whole blending in thing? It's one thing to be comfy, but like, is there a way to pack so you don't like stand out like a sore thumb?
That's where that pre-trip research comes in handy. Take cues from local women's fashion to get a sense of what's appropriate and respectful while still expressing your personal style. It's about finding that balance between feeling confident and comfortable in your surroundings.
Makes sense. And speaking of feeling comfortable, let's talk about like meeting people because it can be like kind of intimidating to like strike up conversations with strangers when
Yeah,
you're on your own.
it can.
Do you have any tips for navigating like those social situations?
It definitely can be,
Mm.
but it can also be one of the most rewarding parts of solo travel. Group tours are a fantastic way to meet people with shared interests. There are also apps designed specifically for travelers that can connect you with like-minded people for activities or just a coffee chat.
Oh, that's such a good point. Like technology can actually be really empowering when it
Yeah.
comes to like
That kicks my butt.
fostering those connections when you are by yourself.
Absolutely.
But what about the flip side? How do you handle like unwanted attention?
Ooh, good question.
Because it's an unfortunate reality that a lot of women do face when they're traveling, especially on their own.
Yeah, and it's just so important to be assertive and just set really clear boundaries if someone's making you uncomfortable,
Yeah.
you know? A firm no can go a long way.
Right. Right.
And remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation or justification for your actions.
That's right.
Like your safety and comfort are paramount.
Yes. You have the right to feel safe,
Absolutely.
respected, period.
100%.
And I imagine, cultural norms around interaction can vary so widely.
They do so much.
So it's
Yeah,
really important to be mindful of that too.
absolutely. What might be considered friendly and approachable in one culture could be misconstrued in another. That's why that pre-trip research on local customs and social cues is so valuable. It's about navigating those cultural nuances with sensitivity and awareness.
It all comes back to that research, doesn't it?
Always.
Well, let's be real,
Yeah.
even with like the best preparation in the world, solo travel, it isn't always, glamorous Instagram photos and newfound freedom.
It's not always pretty.
Right.
Oh.
There are challenges, those inevitable bumps in the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can be lonely at times. And, there are moments where you might feel overwhelmed, unsure of yourself, a little homesick.
Yeah.
But those challenges, those moments of vulnerability, are also opportunities for incredible growth.
That's such a great way to look at it. It's
Yeah.
like it's about reframing those challenges as opportunities for
Yeah.
learning and self-discovery.
100%.
So how can solo travelers navigate those bumps in the road? Like what about those moments when like that wave of loneliness hits or they're feeling homesick?
It's important to allow yourself to feel those emotions.
Yeah.
Don't try to suppress them or beat yourself up for feeling that way. Acknowledge them, process them, and find healthy ways to cope. Maybe that's journaling, calling a friend back home, or treating yourself to a delicious meal. And remember, those feelings are often temporary.
And what about emergencies?
Yeah,
It can be daunting to think about handling those solo,
Yeah.
especially in a foreign country.
it can be, but, emergencies, they happen.
Yeah.
And they can feel, more, I guess, intense when you are far from home.
Right.
But, having a plan in place can make a world of difference.
So, like, what kind of plan? What should solo travelers be, like, thinking about beforehand? Just in case.
Start by familiarizing yourself with local emergency numbers. It's not just about 911 everywhere. Keep important documents easily accessible. Copies of your passport, visa, travel insurance, and those emergency contacts, both local and back home. And honestly, A small first aid kit can be a lifesaver, literally. You never know when you might need a bandage or antiseptic wipes.
Such a good point.
Yeah.
Like, those are the things you hope you never need,
Right.
but when you need them, you really need them.
Exactly, exactly.
But beyond just like the logistics of it all, there's also that mental hurdle of like, okay, something stressful is happening and
Yeah.
I have to deal with this on my own.
There absolutely is. But that's where solo travel really shines. Facing those moments, figuring things out on the fly, builds a resilience you might not discover otherwise. It's empowering to realize you're capable of handling whatever comes your way.
Oh my gosh, it's like you unlock a new level
Yes.
of like confidence in yourself, you know,
Definitely.
where it's like, wow, I handled that and I got this.
Exactly. And you realize like you can handle whatever comes your way.
Exactly.
It's really
I
amazing.
love that. It really drives home the point that like solo female travel, it's about so much more than just like the destination.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey of self-discovery, like you said.
Yeah,
It's an investment in your own personal growth.
you said it. It's about embracing the unknown, challenging yourself, and coming back with a fresh perspective, not just on the world, but on yourself and what you're truly capable of.
We talked about like safety tips and cultural awareness, choosing the right destination, but honestly, like what I'm going to take away from this
Yeah,
is that transformative power
absolutely.
of solo travel and what it can do for you as a person. It's really
Right.
inspiring. It's incredible, isn't it? Stepping outside your comfort zone, even in seemingly small ways, can have these ripple effects throughout your life.
So true, so true. Well, any final words of wisdom for our listeners out there who, you know, are maybe feeling a little bit nervous about taking that first step,
Yeah.
but they also feel that pull, that
Yeah.
exciting pull of adventure?
Trust your gut. Be prepared, both practically and mentally. And most importantly, embrace every moment, the highs and the lows,
Yeah.
because they all contribute to that incredible journey of self-discovery that awaits you.
That is such a good reminder.
Yeah.
You are capable of more than you think.
100%.
You really are. So get out there, go explore, have an amazing time, and, maybe you'll even inspire someone else to take that leap of faith.
Pay it forward.
Yes.
I love that.
All right. Well, safe travels, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Safe travels.